So do you know on average how many hurricanes the Gulf Coast gets a year annually? 2, maybe 3, but 2. Do you know how many we had in this last year alone? 15. I mean, and when did we get pushed onto us this new Gnome technology? I mean, just think about that timeline for a second, okay? Just consider that for a moment.
Interesting, don't you think?
Did you know that they actually invented a hydrogen car, a car that runs on water, back in 1922? I mean, a hydrogen car. Back when we were consuming oil, you know, we were still using coal back then, and then it was electricity with our hybrid vehicles. We could have run it on water. We could still run it on water. We still got water. I mean, I drink it. It's good. But the point is, you know, we're just watching history repeat itself once again. And now we're having a problem with energy fuel cells. What are we going to replace that with? And here we are with gnomes. Here we are.
Do you know that of the 300 million people living in the US today, do you know how many actually own a separate compost to throw away, you know, their old gnomes in? 9.5% out of 300 million people. And do you know what happens to the other 91.5% of gnome wastage that gets generated? And this is just in the United States alone. You've heard about that, like, floating island, 3 million ton floating island of gnome debris in the Pacific. It's like 1,000 miles from here.
Twice the size of Texas.
That's right. Can you imagine? And it's getting bigger every single day.
just floating out there on top of decades and decades of our energy problems.
And then there's a link that they're discovering between gnomes and climate change now, right? So they came up with the perfect solution for carbon dioxide, right? Gnomes are supposed to be the clean energy alternative. Right. Well, now research is showing there's a link between the methane produced from gnome farts, right? So, you know, when you have your gnome and it produces its little stinky, you think no big deal, right? I mean, it's a little inconvenient, but then, like, multiply that by 300 million minimally, because everybody owns multiple gnomes. I mean, in one house, you've got, what, 10, 15 gnomes? So multiply that, you've got a very big problem on your hand.
And who's looking into it? Al Gore's looking into it, right?
Thanks,
Al Gore.
Al.
Yeah, the guy who assures us he wants to set up recycling facilities for all of our technological waste, huh? And has he done that? Where am I sticking my gnome, huh? Where are billions of people sticking their gnomes? They're not going to a recycling facility. This is just another guy that's profitizing off of destroying our Mother Earth. I mean, you go high enough up, everyone's working for the same person. That's the dollar bill.
That's right.
It's just disgusting. There's no one in the higher powers that's honest.
No.
That's why it's up to us.
Which is why, of course, Ziggy and I decided to quit our jobs, to live on the street, and to do what we're doing, to recycle gnomes. It just gives me, you know, feels like I'm at least doing my part.
But I have an idea, and I think we as a community, and I mean the big community, Earth, as our population, we can overcome this. We can finally find peace, and the way to do it, we've never done this before, and that's why I think this is pretty clever. We get everyone what they need at a cost they can get it at.
Gnome camera? a megapixel no GPS.
Legally,
No?
if it has to
Sure.
be so.
All right.
But who's committing the real crime here, okay? If everybody has what they need, who's going to profit off of it?